Let's go back to the water. The earth is no longer a ball of fire. It is a blue marble, covered in vast, silent oceans. For millions of years, the only sound was the crashing of waves against barren rock. The land was empty, gray and brown. But beneath the surface of the water, magic was brewing. In the warmth of deep-sea vents, chemistry became biology. The first life was not a monster or a fish. It was tiny, microscopic specks drifting in the ancient currents. They were simple, but they were alive. For billions of years, these tiny architects ruled the world alone. They did something incredible. They breathed in sunlight and breathed out oxygen. Slowly, bubble by bubble, they changed the atmosphere. Thanks to them, the sky turned from a hazy orange to the beautiful deep blue we know today. As eons passed, life became more complex. Strange, soft creatures began to swim in the shallow seas. Jellyfish pulsed in the dark. Trilobites crawled on the sandy floor. The ocean became a busy, vibrant city. But the land above was still waiting. Then a splash. Life took its first brave breath of air. First came the plants. Mosses and ferns crept out of the water, turning the gray rocks into a carpet of emerald green. Then came the insects, giant dragonflies with wings like glass. And finally our distant ancestors dragged themselves onto the muddy shores. The silence of the land was broken forever. The world began to look like a fantasy. Imagine forests of mushrooms standing as tall as trees, ferns the size of skyscrapers. The air was thick, warm, and rich with oxygen. It was a humid, tropical paradise. And in this lush garden, nature was preparing to unleash its most famous creation. The true giants were coming. Entered the age of the reptiles, the dinosaurs. We often picture them as roaring monsters, fighting constantly. But picture them instead on a quiet morning. The sun rising over a misty valley. The air is warm and smells of pine and damp earth. This was their world, peaceful and wild. Imagine the sauropods, gentle giants with necks like suspension bridges, slowly reaching for the highest leaves. They moved in herds, their footsteps deep and rhythmic, like a heartbeat for the planet. They were the largest animals to ever walk the earth, living mountains moving through the mist. The world was warmer then. There were no polar ice caps, just endless greens and blues. Even the predators, the kings like the Tyrannosaurus, were just part of the natural cycle. Not villains, just animals. Watching, waiting, sleeping in the shade of giant ferns after a meal. It is hard for us to grasp how long they ruled. They walked this earth for 165 million years. We humans have been here for a blink of an eye. For the dinosaurs, this world was their eternal home. They saw the continents drift apart. They saw flowers bloom for the very first time. It was a golden age of biology, a time of giants. But nothing lasts forever in the cosmos. In the depths of space, a rock was tumbling through the dark, silent and cold. It was a destiny set in stone, heading straight for the blue planet. The unsuspecting giants were about to witness the end of an era. It happened in a single day. A light brighter than 1,000 suns flashed across the sky. The impact, near modern-day Mexico, shook the very foundations of the earth. A cloud of dust and ash rose up, hugging the planet, blocking out the warm sun. The eternal summer of the dinosaurs was over. A deep, cold winter descended. The lush forests withered. The mighty giants, unable to find warmth or food, slowly faded into history. It was a time of great sorrow for life on Earth, a reset button. Silence returned to the continents. But in the shadows, under the frozen ground, something was stirring. Life is stubborn. While the giants fell, the small ones survived. Tiny, furry creatures, hiding in burrows deep underground. They were warm-blooded. They were adaptable. They were our direct ancestors. When the dust finally cleared and the sun returned, they emerged into a new world. This new world belonged to the mammals. Over millions of years, they grew, changed, and evolved. Ice ages came and went, carving the mountains and valleys we see today. And eventually, a curious species learned to walk on two legs, learned to use fire, and learned to look up at the stars. That is where our story joins the timeline. The iron in your blood comes from those first stars. The energy in your body comes from the plants that grew from this soil. You are the result of billions of years of survival. You are part of this magnificent story. And now, it is time to rest. Good night. Subscribe to see many other videos like this. Love you all, guys.